recording?
Ready to rock.
We are rocking.
I'm
Previous.
gonna roll for narrative points.
We're still in the same episode, so don't do that.
Oh, four narrative points then.
Yep. This week, previously on Operations in Stormborn and Operation V story, four strangers, carried by destiny, awaken on a sandy beach in the wake of a storm, with neither possessions nor memory of their lives or the world in which they live. Our heroes, Guy, a horseman of the Republican Army, Amalia, a sworn sister with mysterious abilities, and Arnaldo and Svein, two mysteries with no clue to their identities other than their paired amulets. Our heroes set out, discovering more about themselves and the world in which they find themselves, meeting a man, Jan Muller, whose loyalty to the revolution is as spotless as the mill he maintains. Suddenly, a great worm descends upon our brave adventurers, and Jan's mill is revealed to be an enormous construct built to fight the rapacious dragons of the despised Ancien Regime. And yeah.
Man, I love the Clone Wars.
That's what I was going for. All right. So as we left off previously, the windmill has just taken flight and does battle with the dragon. Jan unbars the door and goes outside to sort of just like look at what's going on to him. He's completely enraptured by this, isn't really paying attention to you folks anymore.
I steal his valuables. Just kidding. No, I'm gonna run outside with him and be like, "Oi! Oi,
Donkey,
get
how do you
inside!
do that?
Oi, get inside, man! It's dangerous out here. I mean, I get it. This is once in a lifetime, but you can look out the window, can't you?"
It's safe now. My fidelity to the revolution will keep me warm.
I take out my gun and I try to shoot the dragon.
It just snaps without a spark. It's too waterlogged. It's not gonna be working again for a while.
I look down grumpily at my gun.
I hear the snap of the gun failing to fire, and I turn my attention towards Fane, and I'm just like, "Oh, are you trying to get that thing's attention? Let it fight the construct, you daft moron!"
Sorry, this is just
they
really bizarre for me.
Just like swirling around in circles. It almost looks like a dogfight, but after a while, the dragon gets tired of this shit and it just leaves. And then the windmill construct, comes down from the sort of like 2,000 feet that the fight was happening at, and plants itself into the ground, and then after less time than you'd think, about 20 seconds of shifting around and grumbling, the wind slowly dies down, and Jan's mill just becomes a mill again.
Okay. Well, at least your windmill construct is incredibly tough, Jan.
I'm just the maintainer of it. I'm not the pilot myself.
The pilot. Someone in there?
Okay, I would like to ascertain Jan's exact feelings when he says pilot.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. Let me pull up Svein's character sheet. You're probably looking for.
I know my keen is
awareness.
Tact and awareness.
Yeah, because you're looking.
I was actually looking for empathy.
You're looking for emotional response, I think.
That's empathy then.
Yeah. Okay. Tact and empathy.
I don't have my empathy, so
You sure don't.
Let's see. That's my entire point. I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7. That is 1 failure. Your empathy is 2.
I learned what I wanted to.
Oh, there's an actual windmill Gundam. Didn't know that.
Gundam's weird.
Yeah, so all he talks about when he says pilot, as you don't really get a true sense of what he means. You just assume he means the sort of like technical term of one who specializes in driving a certain type of ship.
Like some sort of mobile construct.
Some yeah, mobile
Mm,
protection.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
could call it a suit of some description.
like armor.
Jan turns to Svein and Arnaldo and says, like, you two, I haven't met any pilots other than him before. How, did he do good?
Did he? Can I roll a check to see how good he did?
I'm just gonna roll the lie and say, yeah, great.
So for Svein, you're rolling to sort of assess if he was good or not, like, actually at it?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Then you're
by
going
my
to,
estimation, as someone who apparently also does this,
Keenan operate, please. No. Keenan maneuver.
I don't have my maneuver then.
You
Learn
sure
more
don't.
skills. I rolled a 4.
You rolled a 4. Okay. That's 6 successes because your maneuver is 5. So the pilot who did that was amateur-ish. You'd say he's probably got about 2 years of experience. However, he did it pretty by the book. It almost seemed like it was a drilled sequence, and you can tell this isn't a pilot that improvises very well, but is not bad enough at anything for that to be a problem. Swappy, you're just trying to lie.
I put my
That was me
hand.
trying to lie.
Okay.
I put my elbow in one hand, and my free hand on my chin and say, "Seems well practiced at the very least."
All right, Svein, your lie. Let's do no Arnaldo. Your lie. Roll me a keen and deception.
I don't know what deception is yet, so let's find out.
You're about to learn.
I rolled a 6.
You rolled a 6. That's 3 successes because your deception is 4.
All right, I know who to not trust.
Whatever you say, he'll believe.
Yeah, oh, it's a textbook maneuver.
All right. Well, that's
Well, those two.
the protector. This is an assurance then that the protector of Katvike is good at his job. I've never actually seen him fly the construct out before.
By my estimation, and what was this guy's name again? Out of character. Jan. It seems like not a lot of action, and this guy is either very new. Your protector is either very new, or you don't exactly see a lot of action out here.
Katvike could be farther from the front. It is technically covers part of here, but we're many miles from it now. There's the warning storm system and plenty of lookout and everything. The only target worth hitting in Batavia is Mokum, and so far from here. It's mostly he's actually here to watch for ships coming from over the sea. He says, gesturing at the ocean of mystery that brought you here.
And our wrecked ship.
You don't even. There's like almost nothing of the ship left. Actually, it was like ripped apart beam by beam.
I'm just imagining like the mast is just sticking out and near the shore, and that's about it.
Chew. So I turn to Jan and I'm just like, "Oh, there's a pilot in there already."
I should ought to be out any minute now. And as he says that, he turns around and looks at the windmill. And hold on, do I actually have that still? Heck, can't find it anymore. I had a portrait I'd chosen for this guy. I can't quite find it anymore. There he is. The pilot comes out. He looks like this and has more or less this same expression, kind of stormy and a little bit sort of upset Do you need us to wait for a bit, Fret, while you swap over?
No, I just switched my phone.
Okay,
It's fine.
all right.
Just I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah. I don't know why I had your volume turned up to 200% either, but it nearly blew out the speakers on my headset. But I should. Holy heck. Yeah, he looks like this. He is wearing a sort of a uniform that is very similar to Guy's, but is not exactly the same. It's a.
He's a flyboy.
Hold on. Gosh, where is that note? All right. So while the sort of the rank insignia on let's see, Guy's coat is like one scarlet sort of diagonal slash mark. His is one silver horizontal slash mark. And he looks at you and he says, "You for what brings you here? Did you see the engagement with the realm?" He looks at Guy, just sort of assuming that Guy is in charge here because they're both in uniform.
oh, I noticed that he's talking to me and not the pilots. I'm just like, aye, lad. You did a good job fighting off that worm there.
Oh, thank you, sir. My name is Gilbert. I've been a construct pilot for 2 years after winning my war hunt.
Right. Well, could stand to improvise a bit more, but where you're going, you've got the knack for it.
Well, mostly I'm actually trying to fight the naval ships in invasion coming over, trying to cut off the army at the front, because we are far behind the rear right here in a very flat area, but just all this technical jargon. I'm sure you're not interested in geography.
In the back of his head is like, what is he saying? But he's got a general gist as he's just like, aye, that's smart.
Yeah.
I as he says that's smart, I slowly turn over to the shore where like the fucking broken mast is sticking out above the horizon, like.
What yes?
I was just gonna say, Molly turns to Finn. The worm is still alive. No.
Wait, what does Amalia say? The what is it still alive?
Oh, the worm is still alive now.
Worm.
The dragon.
Oh, that's right. You called it a worm. I was like, are you just insulting someone? I'm forgetting how.
No.
If I okay, if I remember what the fight just happened, the dragon is still alive and fleed.
You're right. It flew. It flew away. It's not so worth trying to take it down over here. It would take 2 more constructs, and the dragon could hit Katwijk, and then where would we be?
Schitt's Creek, most likely.
What direction did it head out to again?
East, you presume. Assuming that's the direction. Assuming that's the rising sun and not the setting sun, it went east.
Okay.
Well, as long as it's gone for now, and as long as you've already beaten it once, that means you can beat it back again if it ever tries to come back and stir up trouble. But I'm sure that won't be the case.
Unless they come back with
focus
a
on
real
you.
big bastard. Katwijk has a cathedral construct that can handle anything real, but, you know. Katwijk most...
Cathedral construct.
Yes.
Do I remember what a cathedral is?
I
assume
I know. Can I roll to see if I just assume because like amnesia, it's like you forget who you are, but there's like things that stick a lot, you know, like you're.
Yeah.
like basic social constructs.
Sure. Let's do Guy first. Guy, if you could roll. See, there isn't a memory skill. If you could roll keen and academics. Why not?
That is general knowledge, so.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to sidle a bit closer to get a closer look at this windmill construct?
Yeah. So, in a second.
I rolled an 8.
No worries.
You rolled
think
an
that's a
8.
success.
Okay, so that is 5 failures. You've never even heard of a cathedral in general.
Well, I'm not touched by God's light. I'm going to hell. But
Svane,
I'm
were you
gonna
rolling?
bullshit.
Yes?
No, sorry. Yeah, finish, Swappy.
Yeah, I'm just bullshitting when I say, the cathedral construct, because, it'd be... I assume how he mentioned it so casually, it's gonna probably be weird if I'm like, what's a cathedral? Try to give off the air that we still know what the hell's going on.
Gilbert, he just sort of looks at you with like a raised eyebrow. Like, it's not that like he calls your bluff. It's just that like he doesn't think you fully understand exactly what the like implications of that are.
I'm just a simple horseman, I don't. I'm on the ground. That's his stuff.
Goma, you
So,
need to check for something as well, right?
Yeah, so when he says cathedrals, does that like jog my memory at all?
Yeah, and this is just something that would jog your memory. A cathedral is one of the larger classes of construct.
So it is a class of construct.
Yes.
I see. When he says that, does it remind me of any other classes?
No.
Can Amalia roll to see if she can deduce this man's accent?
You certainly can. Could you roll keen and politics, please?
Okay, I actually do know those two.
Yeah,
So
this is a pretty
that's an 8.
easy. So keen plus politics, and
3 successes.
almost as though you could. What did you roll?
3 successes. 8 out of 10.
No, I just need to know what you roll because, as though you could see inside of his mind, as if you could sort of look into his thoughts and see kind of his life story. This man is from the province the revolution began in, the province of Rodin, or Rodin, depending on where you're from. This is where the revolution started. It is the wealthiest region of the part of the world in which you live. And from his accent, this is a middle-class man. Probably urban. Your telepathy stat is 3, by the way.
Oh, okay.
New type 3.
Okay. She, kind of winces as if, like a physical reaction from being able to do that and to tell that. A long way from home.
Not that far. It's just a week by foot, 3 days on horse. But I have not been home for almost a year now. Just me and Jan keeping Katwijk safe and combing the beaches. I apologize. You must have been on the frigate that was dashed on the rocks last night. The charge on the windmill was insufficient for me to make any type of rescue mission. I'm grateful. We are very lucky that even 4 survived. What, that ship, you are going to Mokum, correct?
I lie.
What do you say when you lie? Okay.
No, what he's like, you're going to Mukum, right? I'm like, yes, roughly so, yes. Around that area.
That would make sense. Well, let's, you seem to have nothing on you but the clothes on your back. You must be doing some resupply. Let's go to Katwijk, talk to the representative on mission. They will probably be able to work something out for agents of the Republic.
It sounds like a good plan. We could do with, some,
Anything.
considering what just happened to, transports, yes,
You know.
anything can do.
Yeah, heading to Katwijk to get some, the bare essentials, food, heavy clothing, exposition.
I love exposition.
Let's see. Alright, that's the little text section I'm looking for. And then so Jan and Gilbert start walking you to the small town of Katwijk. Which I have a little reference image for right here. If it will load.
While we're walking, I'd like to put a certain swagger in my gait.
Okay, could you roll grit and performance, please?
Sure thing. I don't know what either of those are. But I'm gonna sure find out real soon. That's an 11.
You barely manage to even stay on your feet. Your grit is 3, your performance is 2.
So I'm just walking like a weirdo.
You're walking like you have 2 broken ankles and hands for feet.
Excellent. I'm gonna put that as a failed check.
Jan turns to you and says, Mr. Pilot, what was your name again?
Ben.
Oh, interesting. Westerman. You don't see many Westerman pilots. Were you perhaps, hit on the head? Or something? You don't appear to be entirely in sovereign control of your, he looks for the right words, trying not to offend you while still conveying just exactly how peculiarly you move. The sovereignty of all of your bodily functions.
You know what, Mr. Han? I might have actually have been. Perhaps, is there a doctor in this town that we could go see?
You think perhaps that you have suffered some kind of brain damage?
And then I say, I am having a very hard time recalling exactly everything that happened last night.
Well, it was probably a traumatic experience, not worth remembering anyways. The representative on mission probably knows somebody, but Katwijk is generally too small to afford its own proper doctor. You may be able to find some apothecaries, and of course plenty of old fishwives with their herbal medicines, but we all know how reliable those are. The representative on mission, though, that's where you will want to look.
Then lead the way, I say, pointing forward.
He leads the way into the town of Katwijk, which is just on the other side of the sand dunes. Katwijk is a small fishing village of about 300. It contains like a central market and lots of pots for like drying sea salt into just like proper salt. As you walk in, you pass a lot of like sheds where people dry fish. I should have gotten a drying fish hut. These things. Lots of like huts where people are drying fish. Are drying fish. Fishwives hawk jars of pickled herring and cod. 2 or 3 stands are set up where vendors batter and fry cod for immediate sale. In the distance, smoke rises from the curing and smoking of fish. The cries of the fishwives, the smell of salt and fish, and the whipping of the oceanic winds paint a universal picture on life of the shores of a cold ocean. The sight before you could easily be found on any cold sea on the planet. In the central market in which you stand, there's, of course, basically anything you can buy made from or around fish. Each armorial stone is now at 1 charge. Sorry.
Thank you.
There is in front of a large brick building. There are 4 bored men with muskets in green uniforms. Their caps, which we would call kepis, bear a blue, white, yellow cockade of colors matching the same that flies over the large building. It is quiet aside from the shrieks and cries of the merchants, and of course the constant whipping of the wind and the crying of the gulls.
Okay, so these guys are in uniform, right? Is there a way I can try to identify their rank from a distance?
Yeah. Let's pull up Guy's character sheet. That would just be... You see, your academics is 0, but, like, you would know what this is. So...
Yeah.
One of them's a corporal, the rest are nobodies.
Okay, and what was my rank again?
The same. The same, but for cavalry. These guys are infantry.
Right, and I believe that still means I am...
is what that's called.
Right. Alright, well, I'm going to, I assume that building with the guards is where we're going, right?
Yeah, that is where, Gilbert is leading you.
As we're walking, I'm gonna say John, Guy isn't, an unsociable guy. He's walking by. If a fish maiden, a wife, hawks at him, he'll be like, no thanks, lass. Terribly sorry. Kind of in the hurry here. If a ball gets kicked over, he'll kick it back as they make their way over to this place they're heading towards.
Mm-hmm. So the actual building... Scroll up. Is this. This is what that building looks like. The doors, as you can see, are sort of right there on the right. That's where our 4 little soldiers are sitting. As Gilbert leads you up to the 4 of them, he says, he goes to the men. He's like, "All right, is the representative in?" They turn to him. They say, they answer in the negative, but the burgmaster is there. You presume the mayor of Katwijk, and she can see them and sort of. The 4 soldiers instantly glean that you're like shipwrecked, and so they're quite willing. They're willing, if unhappy, to just wave you in.
Yippee!
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I give him a salute as we walk past him as a fellow soldier.
The corporal returns. The corporal looks at you with a baffled expression and just like, he's like, looks at you at looks at your face, your salute, the brigadier's rank insignia back at you, and is just like, cocks his head a little bit and just waves you in.
Well, gee, all right. I lower my head and I walk inside dejected.
Gilbert turns to you and is like, "You're Rodinese. You are Rodinese. You should." Oh well, it's you probably are confused from the experience of being in the storm, right? And he like looks at you as sort of like, you better use this as an excuse, or else people will start getting a little bit confused by your behavior.
Swallowed too much seawater.
Probably, yeah, I'm like, yes, probably the storm, banging my heads against the rocks, and probably a good chunk of seawater in my lungs, yes.
Well, the representative on mission, he will be person able to set you up permanently and speed you on your way, but the Burgmeistress will be able to keep you going for now. And he knocks on the door, a door that says Burgmaster Mestach, which is spelled thusly. And you hear a feminine voice say, "Come in," from the other side, and you enter the door and are presented with a stern-faced woman in her 30s, slightly graying at the temples, poring over a desk full of papers lined with lists and spreadsheets and all sorts of information about just the everyday running of the town of Kotvik. She looks up at you from... Yeah? Go ahead.
I just say, "Good day, Birdmaster."
"Good day," she says to you. Just sort of going from Guy to Amalia to the two pilots, and just like, what on earth? And is unable to suppress an expression of not confusion, but perhaps disorientation. It's weird seeing these three types of people in this place all together, is the impression
I
you
have
get.
my... Like, she's looking us over. Gee, like, if this is a panning shot, Gee's just like hands on hips, like balled up into fists, hands on hips, just smiling, like, "Hi."
Is there...
You see.
Yes?
Oh, sorry. Amalia just also steps up, like, "Good evening, madam. We are the survivors of the wreckage of. I forgot the type of ship. I forgot where it was going, but she would give that information."
Oh, yes, the frigate on the way to Mokum. Yes, it's quite unfortunate. It's the wildest storm that we had in decades over here, despite we're on a... I don't want to bother you with the technical sailing terms, but this is a shore that's very easy to run aground on, but usually when storms are less intense, we can have lighthouses and things to keep clear of this. It's a freak accident, I'm afraid. An act of fate.
Yes, and fate guides us all, doesn't it?
And she smiles a bit and then looks at you. She smiles a bit and just sort of looks approvingly at your statement. And so it's like, Representative Milo will be able to help you the most. He'll be able to authorize your transportation to Mokum. But in the meanwhile, I'm certain you can't give me the exact details, wartime necessity and all, but might you be able to say why you were going to Mokum?
I'm gonna go off what the previous theory, excuse me, that was shot our way, and it's like, we were heading there for resupply, but we're going to need a lot more resupplying when we get there, to make to simplify things, really.
Well, yes, but Mokum is... she looks for the exact words. These are ideas so basic to her that she actually struggles to put them into parsable phrases. Mokum is a transportation hub, unless you were there to meet the Bataf government from Rodin, she says, looking at Guy and Amalia, Guy Armalia, who are, in her eyes, Rodinese. Unless you two were there to parley with the Batafsa government, that would make sense. But two pilots, why were two pilots? If you can say, I understand if you are not. Why were you going to Mokum and not flying? Or
Give it to Arnaldo.
I will just lie. Regrettably, that is a state secret. And then I'm going to look pointedly at Guy, even though there's no, just hoping that he backs this up. As the person who holds some sort of official rank.
Roll charm and deception, please.
Charm and deception. Oh man, I'm not charming.
You're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out.
I'm good at lying, but I'm not good at being charming, apparently.
Well, the thing is
I rolled snake eyes.
Yeah!
All right, give yourself an awakening point because that's 8. That's okay. First of all, that's 8 successes. You have a charm of 5 and a deception of 4.
Oh, charm of 5. Sorry, it said 1. Oh, right, because it had been filled in. I'm an idiot.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
You
the
can't.
mystery.
It has to be a number, or else it'll mess up the formulas for
Gotcha.
making
Never
sure they're
mind.
all
Google sheet.
balanced for Google
So-
Sheets.
I'm so stunned.
So she takes that hook. She takes that hook, line. She takes that hook, line, and sinker. She holds up an arm, closes her eyes, and shakes her head. And is like, "If you don't need it," and just says, if you can't get into it, don't get into it. We're at war."
There is one thing I particularly would like to know.
Yes.
Is there some
what's
sort
your
of doctor I could see?
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I hit my head during the storm, and I cannot. The last week or so is very hard to come by for me.
Memory issues. Yes, we do have. We don't have a surgeon or any proper physician, but we do have a barber who could probably address any immediate medical issues.
I say, moving around my arms, and my senses are quite bad right now.
I can see.
Looking at Mr. Han.
Jan just sort of like starts nodding, like he can barely walk, and Mestach is like, yeah, it may have been. This session's certainly the first time you heard that the destination of the frigate was Mokum, which is spelled thusly, by the way.
Thank you.
Yep. And then, just yes, when we're finished getting you your paperwork all lined up, the corporal outside will take you to the barber. He may be able to address some of your concerns.
I smile. Much appreciated.
I think we could all do with a checkup, but I do want to have a few words with my entourage here before we go our separate ways.
Of course, and well, we just. Of course. She's clearly desperate for more information about where you came from, why you're here, and where you are going, but is beginning to get the impression that you just aren't allowed to say.
Yes.
Can I
Technically,
ask?
that is
Business of the
truth.
church.
Amalia, do you say church business? Does those
No.
words exit your mouth? Okay.
They do not. They do not exit my mouth.
Okay.
That seems like a very touchy subject.
All right.
We're just all fishing constantly. It's great.
It almost seems like you really wanted them to.
I would need to know if you did or not.
Okay, no.
Because you are, like, you're in this building, right, of the image I just sent, but you haven't
Yes.
seen anybody dressed remotely like you. Everyone here are clerks and soldiers. Just making sure. Just really want to get that impression across. All right, and then well, if there's anything else I can do for you by the time you get back from the barber, Representative Milo should be here.
I will ask, ask if she happens to have an up-to-date newspaper.
News?
I'll go
Paper?
fishing.
She says. She just sort of looks confused for a little bit, and then sort of looks around behind her, rummages through some papers, then hands you a broadsheet. Give me 1 second, please. And they said calendars are useless world building information. Okay, so the calendar, she says this is 4 months old, and she hands it over to you. It is dated from the 5th of Fugarius, which is spelled thusly. And says pretty nothing about this has really changed that much. The big headline there, the big headline is Maccabee goes into winter quarters, comma, front to advance in spring. And gives a brief description of a Rhodanese, not Rhodanese, an Oathlander, Republican general, Maccabee, who has advanced the front. They have currently moved 20. By the time that they went into winter quarters, they had advanced 12 miles into the country of Tuscaland. And then on the back of the broadsheet is various political information. The Electoral College had assembled and elected a new member of the directory, as well as, various political appointments, generals who had been made lieutenants promoted into captains, naval assignments, representatives on who had been sent as representatives on mission where, a bunch of names, both personal names and place names that mean nothing to you.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Arnoldo and be like, "Hey, Arnoldo, mind if I take a read as well?"
I'll like pass a copy of it. I'm basically trying to get like just a general lay of the land here. Like I don't want to, inquire after a country that doesn't that.
Well, Arnaldo, you understand both of these languages, but the language this newspaper is written in is not the language that Jan and Mestach have been speaking to you in. In fact, it seems to be the language corresponding with Gilbert's accent. This is not a newspaper that's from here.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else want to do something real quick?
Called art broadsheets.
Oh,
Right? You don't need to give me an answer right now.
I hadn't. The Spark.
The Spark.
I imagine there's a cute little symbol of like a little like star next to it.
It's actually like a hammer hitting an anvil and a bunch of like sparks coming off of that.
Oh, nice.
And the underneath the headline is the descriptor: "The world is our tinderbox." Can we break for 20 minutes? I've got to take care of the dog.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Pause the recording. All right. Unpause.
Let the man make his cookie.
Unpausing the OBS recording. The button right next to the stop recording button. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sneeze.
It just sounded like a scream to me.
No,
Same thing.
It was a sneeze cough.
All right, so let's see. Just to redo the last interaction that we got interrupted. Burgmistress Mestach turns to you and says, "Well, before you go to the barber, is there anything I can take?" Oh no. Guy was reading the newspaper. That's where we were. Guy, what information are you looking for? Swappy?
Oh, right. I'm just kind of surveying the newspaper to see if anything jogs any memories. Like, oh, here's a battle, or here's blah, blah, blah.
No, nothing jogs your memory. You see cuirassiers mentioned a couple times, and you think you're one of those, so.
Oh. Is there a picture of them?
No, this is a pretty cheaply made newspaper. There's not even any wood cuttings or etchings.
Damn. Alright, well, I tried. I kind of hand the paper over back to Arnoldo. Amalia, you wanted to speak with us before we headed over to the barber?
Yes, just outside. Is
Right.
there
Sorry.
Anywhere outside of the building where we could just find a corner that's not private but out of earshot.
Yeah, pretty easily. For those of you who are familiar with a cathedral layout, the office that you're in is just in one of the chapels, and you find a completely empty chapel quite easily.
Okay, before she goes, she's like, "Thank you for your time, madam," and then does a little bow.
The bow is less confusing from you than it was than the salute from Guy was, but it's still not entirely welcome.
Mm. Okay. In the chapel, Amalia is just going to pull everyone together. We need a plan. So, Sven,
Yes?
you are already the one going to the physician. How open should we be about our condition?
First off, look at Guy, looking for an answer.
Imagine everyone just looking.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question? I blanked out.
We don't know who we can trust. How open should we be about their quote-unquote condition?
And everyone turns to Guy.
Yeah, it's
Tallest
only
man in the room.
only point of actual authority.
Well, I scratch my chin as I think. Well, something tells me that it's going to be mighty suspicious if 4 survivors of a crashed vessel all claim to have amnesia all at once. I mean, I doubt the chances of that happening are very high, though I'm no medicine man. Who knows? Maybe a bump on the head is enough cause to lose your memories about everything and anything, you know? But I doubt it.
Also,
Now, think. I'm sorry.
sorry. Because I'll interject while Guy's talking. It's like, speaking of like bumps on the head, you certain about that accent, Guy? Because are you not
I don't
speaking with
know.
the same accent as the locals rather than the if I'm
can't
going
do
on the vaguely French one that
Okay, so just laying some ground, making sure we're all on the same page. None of you speak the same accent as the locals. Svain's is close. Guy's is the same as Gilbert's, the construct pilot.
I have a question.
Yes.
I need to elaborate.
So, to the audience, what do we sound like?
Guy and Gilbert sound French.
Oui.
Amalia
Oh,
sounds German, and Arnaldo sounds like he's from northern Italy, and Svein sounds like a guy named Svein. He sounds like a Swede.
Truly, this is hell.
Well,
The
I'm just
locals,
trying
I
to,
can't do a
match-
Dutch accent, so I did Scottish instead. The locals speak with a Dutch accent. My
well,
Dutch accent is very
No,
bad.
no. In this not Europe, Scotland is
Yeah,
where
in this
Dutch
not
would be.
Europe, Scotland is the Netherlands.
Well, I'm just trying to match the local accent around here. But if you want my real accent,
it's all fair. I just figured I'd give you a warning because that's something we're able to kind of infer for the papers. Like this is this language sound. This is this one.
look,
I guess it's
out
weird.
of character, I need
It feels
to.
like you got some funny look for your accent earlier, so I figured I'd pass it along to you.
Okay, out of character. Like, I don't know if I can do a French accent, but
You don't have to if you don't want to. I've had to just slowly out of some behind the, I've just had to slowly dial down Gilbert's accent over the course of the session because I can tell y'all are not getting
Don't
every
understand.
single word.
anyway, so
I was contemplating during that scene, looking over to
Guy-
Arnaldo and whispering, "Do you have any idea what this guy's fucking saying?"
Yeah, Guy sighs and clears his throat, and when he starts speaking again, he sounds very French. It's just like, all right, well, I guess I'll just speak like this from now on.
Also,
Anyway,
I want to say before we move on, I admire your dedication to the accent up to this point. That was
No, the French
excellent.
was too far. I'm sorry. The French was too far.
It's too French. It's too much of a European mindset.
I have a last name that is of French descent, most likely.
Well, that's crazy.
Asian,
So
but,
does Guy.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, but I don't think I can pull off a French accent. I'll try some other time. Anyway, but Geek scratches his chin. He's just like, but Svein has already made it quite given us a good smoke screen to get all of our answers answered via using him as a scapegoat, I guess we can say, as he's kind of given everyone the impression of having amnesia. So if we run with Svein being our amnesiac, we can get more information without seeming too suspicious under the guise of getting information for Svein here.
I looked around. I look at Guy and I say, "I'm not exactly feigning. I don't really remember much."
Do I, Svein? I also don't remember much outside of my name, and that's about it. Since I woke up, I figured out I was a corporal for cavalry, and that's about it so far. I apparently probably come from the same place that that Jean guy, the construct pilot, came from.
His name was Gilbert.
Gilbert, that was his name. Yes, the
He's
construct.
already forgetting.
Everything's so
Anyway.
upside down for me. I thought I was a nun.
After effects,
I'm a
we
monk.
still have memory issues post accident. It's fine. It happens.
Well, I think the rocks probably caused a brain hemorrhage. But regardless, I think we should run with Svein being our amnesiac. I don't think it's particularly wise to tell even one person that all four of us don't have our memories.
And he
Unless you
believes
all
that
have-
would be wise.
Unless you all have a counter argument to as to why we should tell them that we all have amnesia.
I,
Oh, that makes sense to me. At least.
I have, for the benefit of the recording, I have to say this, Quix. Amnesiac, parentheses, Swedish. Brain damage speech, parentheses, Swedish. Can't walk normal, parentheses, Swedish.
Really an unfortunate soul. Anyway, so we're gonna use him to our benefit.
now, I will say before we continue, I think that we should keep running the story that it was a hush-hush military operation on the frigate.
Yes, if we simply claim that we are not at liberty to tell people as to what we were doing, then the chances of them finding us is very unlikely, or well, finding us to be lying is very unlikely. And well, if they find us to be lying, the chances of them believing us that we came clean and saying that we all lost our memory, they'll probably shoot us, actually. So,
Before we
military
go.
operation, quiet, nobody can talk about it except us, between ourselves. As you were saying, Amalia, apologies.
Oh, she just takes out her knife. If we're in this, then we should be in it together. She puts her hand in the middle of the group, sort of cuts the palm, and then brings it in the middle.
Well, as that Mestak lady said, considering how we only seem to be the survivors, and we all have amnesia, the chances of this being some weird twist of fate is, I'd say, likely. I don't know if I was a religious or a man of belief before I woke up on that beach, but I guess I am now, and I take Amalia's knife and I slit open my hand, and I just clench it with hers.
She just got like she actually is like pulled in a little like, oh my god, you're strong, and pulls back and looks over to Sven.
I have a question, quick. So I'd like to make a roll.
What would you like to? What are you trying to check? What are you
I
trying
don't
to
know about medicine in the Napoleonic times as a person playing this game. However, I know as a person in 2024
You do?
that mixing blood with other people is generally a bad idea, and that's a good way to get disease. Can I check against my med?
Yeah, you can roll.
It's raw as fuck.
Roll keen in medicine.
Very well then.
Actually,
I don't know my med.
Your choice of keen and tact and medicine.
I'm gonna go with keen.
Hey, if we all catch a disease, then we'll really be in it together.
I rolled a 7.
Dang. Your medicine score is 0. Seems fine.
I go ahead with it.
That's 2 failures.
So it's funny that you, because I was also super hesitant to cut my palm just for not the exact same reasons. When Arnaldo's time comes, he's gonna just prick the tip of one of his fingers, and then he'll like move his hands. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna need to use these. I don't feel like going down to one hand. Also,
It's the symbol that counts.
What hand did he use? Like the reflex. I don't even know if I'm left or right-handed at the moment.
All of you are right-handed, and but.
Okay.
What?
Well, just give me a sec. Let me just make sure. As the 4 of you link hands, each of you receives a piece of information that is unique to all of the others. That each of you suddenly learns something about all of yourselves. I'm going to DM it to each of you so that you may decide what you're going to do with it. This is going to take a second. Sorry.
I'm bouncing in my chair in excitement.
I like how everyone has like their hand in, and then I'm just imagining Arnaldo has like the index finger like poking.
Yeah, just the pinky finger.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
I'm just imagining like this is the point where the animation budget kind of goes out, and it's like it's a really nice frame, but like it's not animated. It's a still.
Yeah, it's just zoom.
Oh yeah, it's like what 90s anime do, where it's like just one really well drawn like painted frame, but it just scrolls.
Granted, that's a really great trick.
Oh, a bit of vomit.
I like it.
Hold on. Halfway through. Almost there.
Oh, the virtual show starts in 7 days.
All right. Each of you has received the Each of you has received a flash. Each of you has just experienced a flashback that revealed to you the piece of information I just sent you. I'm gonna mute myself real quick and then say it on the OBS record, and then get back to it. To Amalia,
My
I
eyes
said
just
she's not a
fucking
real
widened.
Arnaldo
Like,
and Svein are best friends, and Guy is Amalia's bodyguard. All right.
Yeah, we had to.
We probably shouldn't watch the OBS recording then.
Or you can skip 10 seconds. Or you could all tell each other what it is
Just,
right now.
I slap Arnaldo on the back. Let's go, pal.
Let's go. And I will, return the gesture.
I see these two link hands hand in hand, and I kind of slowly look at Amalia, and I'm just like, "Yep, Amalia looks like you and me are going to be sticking close like those two, eh?"
Amalia actually, after the flashback, she seems to put the knife back into her habits. A little shaky. Yes, it appears so.
Well, I think we can trust those two, but just stick close to me. Well, considering we're all on the same ship, I'm pretty sure we're all allies, but it seems I have a responsibility to you.
As sort of the four of you all are kind of reeling a bit from the simultaneous flashbacks each of you expected, the green garbed corporal who was protecting the cathedral is looking, finds the chapel that you guys are all sort of in, and knocks on the door.
I open the. Yeah.
Pull out my sword. Yeah, kidding.
Oh yes, you need to go to the barber.
Ah, excellent. Lead the way.
Oh, I see you have already started preemptively bleeding your sanguine humors. You must have some sort of basic medical training. It makes sense that the cuirassier, obviously, in hindsight. Well, come with me. And he takes you across the market. The sailing vessels have come in for the day. And they actually... They have removable keels, so you can just drag them up onto the beach. And so they've started setting up the fish to dry. It seems the day will be coming to a close soon. A lot of the merchants are starting to pack up shop as you go into the barber's office.
So, as someone in 2024 who doesn't know a lot of this period, when you say barber, I hear guy who cuts beards.
Barbers
So
did that as well as medical treatment.
Yes, so he is that, but he's also kind of like a pharmacist also.
I see.
Yeah. So
Nothing
he
like the
does
good old
also
barber
cut
surgeon.
hair. Cut hair, this was a real thing that existed in the early modern period where a lot of barbers had also a bit of medical knowledge. They would cut your hair, but they could also give you stitches, prescribe basic medicines. This is a thing that doesn't really exist anymore, but these were once the same job.
It's why the symbol for barbers, the red, white, and blue thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm. Because red and white of medicinal colors.
Yeah, the
White
red
of
is the
bandages,
blood.
red of blood. Yeah.
And the blue is, I think, of the vein. I'm not too sure about.
Yep, red arteries.
Learning
veins,
new
and then white
things all the
bandages.
time.
Yep. No. I'm glad we can all learn some things together. But moving back in, taking my historian hat off and putting the director hat back on, the barber is a slightly heavy set man with general Burnside type facial hair, and he looks at the four of you. He looks at the two pilots. He looks at Guy, looks confused, looks at the two pilots, looks even more confused, and looks at Amalia and looks not just confused, but slightly offended that she's here, and says, "Is there anything I can do for you?" With with an audible question mark at the end of that sentence.
And I say, excuse me, I seem to have hit my head extremely hardly recently, and I cannot remember the last week super well.
He takes a deep breath in through the nose, breathes it out through his mouth, and says, "Interesting. If you would come over here, I may be able to prepare you something that can at least make it so that you can make new memories just as well." He goes back behind the countertop, starts what looks like assembling a sort of vile blend of herbal tea, and then says, "Did you try to bleed yourself?" Looking at your hand.
Yes.
And no, I say no. I just cut my hand recently.
All right. Try to avoid
It
that.
was-
You'll need the Shenguin humors in order to revitalize the activity in your brain.
I look down at my hand. Sure
Yeah.
thing.
He just kind of like
Does
takes
that make
Amalia's hand.
sound medical sense to the rest of us?
He
If you,
takes Amalia's
everyone can
hand.
roll keen in medicine if they want to see how much sense that makes. And
Sure, why
put
not?
the
I'll
answer
roll
in
keen
VC
in med.
text.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Hold on. So Guy made a keen and medicine roll, and rolled a 5, which is 1 failure. Your medicine is 2. You just bleeding is bad. You shouldn't do it. Amalia
Bleed,
made
not
that same
good.
roll.
Oh,
Keen. Amalia made that same roll. Keen and medicine. And rolled a 7. Amalia, your medicine score is 3. So that was 6. That was 4 successes. Wow. This in accordance with the medical knowledge you know so far, you would in fact want to refrain from losing as much blood as possible during times of depressed mental acuity, and would want to eat warm, hot foods. Svein for keen and medicine, 1 success. You definitely
did
don't
roll.
want... Arnaldo, my bad. Arnaldo, your medicine score is... Oh, wait. What? Yeah, that's 1 failure, so, like... You don't know. It's whatever. Your medicine score is 0.
Okay. I'll trust the professionals.
Alright. So he says, try to eat as many hot foods as you can, spicy foods as you can, wet or dry, it makes no preference. Have you all a place to stay for the night?
I will speak up and I'm like, no, not yet. We're still getting sorted out as what was the name of the person we were supposed to meet before we met with the Birdmaster because they were currently out?
Representative on mission.
We're representative
The
on
representative.
Representative Milo.
We were supposed to meet with Representative Milo to get all sorted out for transportation and a place to stay for tonight. But he's currently, as far as I'm aware, out on business.
At the mention of Representative Milo, the barber kind of clams up a little bit and looks a bit anxious and says, well, he's probably the best person for taking care of things.
I would
Until
like
then...
to roll to see if I notice those.
What? For the emotions he's emoting.
Yeah, to see just exactly what is he evoking. Is there a chance I could use like a tact for this?
Sure. Tact, empathy.
Yay! I don't know what either of those are because all I know is my keen of my attributes.
Oh.
I rolled a 9.
Oh, that's a shame. That's two failures. Would you like to reroll? Sorry.
Sure.
Tact of 4, empathy of 3.
I see. A tact of 4 and an empathy of 3. I'm quite the nice person, aren't I? I'm gonna roll. I'm just gonna try and see. I want to see if this guy's gonna be
We were at 3 narrative points.
gonna be sinister. Oh, that's a meets it, beats it.
Yay!
It's a what?
Meets it.
One
beats it,
success.
1 success.
So at the mention of the name of Representative Milo, you figured out the joke behind that instantly. I thought I was being clever with that name.
Everything is coming up, Milo.
Yeah. It looks like it's not fear. He is not afraid at the mention of the name of Representative Milo, but there is tension involved.
Grimace?
No, just sort of like a sort of like, oh, like I best behave. And his eyes
Makes sense,
flit,
he's the
and
mayor.
then his eyes flit to Guy and Amalia, and his brow just furrows again, and then is just like he's just like trying not to trying not to come up with an explanation himself.
I don't know if
Why?
it's too much fishing at this point, but I've noticed there seems to be a lot of like whenever we come up with anything that seems to have to do with the revolution and the church, there seems to be people looking
Friendship.
askance about things. Is there like
Could you say
anything
that?
I can roll to try and read into that?
Actually, I have an idea about this. I look around and then I say, Barber. And I'm looking at the weird energy. Is there any reason why everyone acts so strangely? Yeah, when the revolution is brought up.
He chooses his following words very carefully and deliberately, and just says, "The revolution did not start here. And it is not from here. And you are in a small provincial fishing village. I think that for some inhabitants of the village, it would be unwise to say who. They see the revolution and the things it brings with it, for good or ill, as inherently negative because they are not from here."
I
Pull
see.
out my sword, traitors die. No, just kidding.
I assume that those qualms also applied to that of the church.
Uh, this is, and at this he is like, he looks at Amalia as she says that and is like, actually, Amalia, could you roll for me? Charm. Well, that's the wrong character sheet.
You cops.
Keen, empathy, telepathy bonus, if you have them all.
Keen empathy. I do not have empathy.
Okay? Just roll, please.
Oh wait, 3d6 because
No, 2.
I forgot how.
Because telepathy's a bonus, it's not an additional stat.
Okay, then that's going to be 6.
Perfect. Your empathy score is 4. Um, as though he had said it aloud, the phrase "you're not who you say you are" passes through your mind. And
She thinks to herself, well, I already know that.
And says aloud, "Well, you see what they've done with the cathedral, what they've turned it into, and, personally, I'm grateful knowing that there's a cathedral construct that can keep us safe should the worms return, but you have to admit, no matter how long Bataf has been part of the revolution and part of the Republic, that could never be an uncontroversial thing."
I'm gonna step in, not as a interrogator, but as a disengager, and I'm just like, oh, all right, everyone, let's focus on having the barber give Spain his treatments rather than bombarding him with unnecessary questions.
At the image of the military man actually diffusing the situation, the barber visibly grows much more relieved, and hands it over to hands the blend of herbs over to Sylvain and is like, "You can take them, of course. You're a pilot. You need to keep up your strength. It's a very I obviously don't know anything about piloting myself, but there are 3 pilots who are stationed for the cathedral, and it seems like a very difficult job."
I smile. We're quite skilled people. Profession is very demanding.
I'm certain, especially in times like these, with the he stops himself. He stops himself mid sentence, looks at Amalia, and then just says, "Unpleasantries."
My smile defense. I'm sure you understand.
I don't think they like you. Amalia, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't think they like you.
Was it not that? Is it not obvious?
I mean, well, it certainly is now.
And I audibly say, well, that's our business concluded here. Thank you, Barbara. We better get back to the cathedral.
Yes,
Alright.
terribly sorry for my travel partner's
Bluntness.
barrage of questions and yes, bluntness and barrage of questions in interrupting your work. Good day.
Memory loss is a
Thank you very.
confusing affliction. You steep that for 5 minutes and then drink it, and please come back tomorrow so that we can reassess from there.
I do hear that, then.
Thank you.
Barbara's orders. As I pat Sven on the back and hold Amalia and kind of help lead her out of the barber shop as I whisper to myself like, "Don't I know?" At the
See?
comments of amnesia is a confusing affliction. I'm like, yeah, don't I know, pal?
She actually stops herself as everyone's making their way out the door, and looks over at the barber. Oh, and good barber, keep your biases to yourself. And she walks out.
That isn't a threat.
He makes a gesture.
Oh, that isn't a.
He makes his eyes go wide. He makes a gesture and he slams the door shut.
I see him slam the door shut. And I look at Amalia like, Amalia, what did you do?
Oh, nothing. Let's carry on.
We have to, Amalia. If I am to, as it's dawning on me that my bodyguard duties are probably going to be a bit of a ordeal. Yeah, a bit complicated. It's like, yes, let's try not to make enemies or cause problems. And Amalia is just like, I'm going to threaten this barber. I'm just like, oh god.
You call it a threat, or it's a warning that other people won't take it as well. Maybe he's being unreasonable.
Big Kronstadt sailor pops out of the screen with a pointing finger. No, you are the counter-revolutionary. And then someone gets shot.
All right. As you four kind of discuss among yourselves while slowly making your way back to the cathedral. A carriage pulled by 2 horses shows up. It's drawn. It's being led by a soldier, one who dressed almost exactly like the ones who guard this place, but wearing a blue coat, not a green coat. And this guy steps out. Loading. This guy. Good evening, friends.
And
my name is Representative Milo. You are my charges for the next couple of days. Pilots, soldier, and of course he looks at Amalia and smiles, and goes to take Amalia's hands in his said, "I have been briefed on your operation, and I have to say I commend the actions you are taking. And I wish you best of luck. But perhaps this best discussed behind closed doors," he says, gesturing to the cathedral, "or perhaps best to discuss in the morning."
We are not a busy people, are we? And she goes to look at the other 3.
I'm just sitting there like, I'm not going to be able to say no as an answer, or am I? As I say, not at all. We have enough time. The sun is still out. Not nighttime just yet.
Mr. Brigadier, your name is
Guy. Call me Guy.
Ah, yes, Mr. Guy. Could you help me with my cargo? He says, going to the back of the carriage and opening it up.
I say, of course, Representative. It would be my pleasure. As I make my way also to the back of the carriage to, assist with the cargo.
It is full of taxidermied animals and, a box and like insects pinned to boards.
A collector, are you of creatures?
Oh, I am. It is nothing. I am something of. I'm an amateur naturalist.
See, a fine hobby, if I do say so myself. Always could learn more about the world around us. I say as I glance over to my entourage of amnesiacs.
He he like raises an eyebrow and is like he raises an eyebrow as though this is something very strange for a cavalryman to say, and then puts a taxidermied we know them as like a seal in your arms.
Yeah.
Come with me to my office and we shall discuss things more completely.
What are the quality? Sorry for interrupting.
No, go on.
What are the quality of these taxidermies?
Mediocre.
Okay.
All right, you step into
These
his office.
taxidermies are trash! No, I'm kidding. I will lift this seal. You know what? I'm gonna make a strength check. I'm gonna try and lift more than just seal.
All right, roll grit and athletics.
That is a 6.
That is 6 successes because your grit is 5 and your athletics is 6.
Damn, I'm good.
And
You gave him 6 in a skill?
I
That's
also,
what it means to
I
be a
also gave
cavalryman.
him a lot of zeros.
Damn, that is true.
And yeah, easily. This seal is nothing. If it weighed twice the weight, it would be nothing. Were it smaller, you could carry a lot more things, but alas, you do make it all in one trip, of course. And go into his office. His office is the strangest looking and smelling room that you can remember, which isn't saying a lot because you've only been in like 3 rooms, but it feels like it's notable. And it's full of papers. On the back, it's got sort of like an org chart with a lot of different names, and like boxes and boxes and boxes of just like files, just like random paper about everything and nothing. He's like, let me find your paper, Sister Amalia. Ah, here it is. Amalia von Braun. You are from Tyskland and... yes, I see. So... How... Yes, like the Nazi.
Oh my.
So, how did you manage to get this far? I know you're going to Mokum in order to transfer and get, shall we say, behind the lines, but how did you get into an intelligence network?
Arn, I feel, you know, out of character. At times like these, I feel like we have one person to rely on. I say,
Oh, 1 second.
motioning towards Frep.
I slowly start to unsheath my sword.
Arnoldo is on a strict need-to-know basis.
Okay.
We're mercenaries, don't forget.
What was I saying?
So, yeah, the guy Millhouse, asked Amalia how did she got involved in a intelligence network.
My God.
For the record, Milo is spelled Milhaud, not Millhouse. Continue.
Euros, and we were discussing our plan out of character on what to do, and we decided that Frep should do something about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's Frep's gonna do about this?
I'm gonna put a hand up real quick and say, with respect, Representative, we're not at liberty to discuss such matters unless you. Because I used the lie about state secrets, and I'm hoping just to run that lie a little further. It's like, I'm not aware how much you know and how free we are to speak on the matter. I'm basically pitching him to like
Be
either
assured.
end this line of questioning or like enlighten us a little bit more so we have a little more water to tread.
Yes, I'm sure you are familiar with the concept of compartmentalization of information.
Why not?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course. And I'm going to roll to see if Amalia.
Answers
Knows
yes,
what
drives
information
with
compartmentalization is.
elbow into
All right,
Yes.
roll keen in academics.
Okay, keen academics. I believe yeah, I do.
You should have both of
That is
those.
going to be 5 out of 10,
5 successes,
6 successes.
6 successes. Yeah, you know what information compartmentalization is. It's in fact a concept that's intimately familiar with you on many levels and has been for years. There are facts of which I am aware. That is the purpose of Amelia von Braun and her guardian, and facts of which I am not familiar, such as the presence of the 2 pilots aboard the frigate. But I am certain you have been brought up to speed. You were on the ship. Correct?
Correct.
Yes, he is correct.
Very
Yes.
well. So obviously we have to get you to Mokum as soon as you are prepared to do so. Until then, I've been told you are suffering from some medical issues. Of course, you may need to recuperate either here in Katwijk or in Mokum. Mokum, of course, is a much larger city, but it is a bit of a journey. The decision is yours, of course. As agents of the Republic, you are empowered in your movements. Mainly, my role here is to make your stay in Katwijk as comfortable as possible. Now, as I am certain you are aware, the victories of the revolution are somewhat controversial in Katwijk. Especially, he sort of meshes his fingers together in a nervous tick as he works out the precise phrasing of what he says next. Many find the treatment of the historic church in Katwijk to be unacceptable, despite the benefits that it brings them. This is, of course, their opinion. They are free to express it. But it is not a perfectly safe town for people who are so visibly agents of the Republic, and the image of a soldier and a woman in disguise as a sworn sister of the church is not inherently frightening, but it is confusing, and people may behave strangely about you.
Perhaps it was not the best choice of disguise in that manner.
It made sense for Mokum, it does not make sense for Katwijk. Certainly makes sense for Tyskland.
We find ourselves in unfortunate timing.
Yes, considering well, I don't believe this was our stop.
No, you were set for... what part did you leave from?
Alright.
Who
boy.
has the highest academics in Keen? Amalia?
Yeah,
I believe that'd be.
Who could bail us out of this
yeah.
situation? I was trying to like.
Amalia, try and make an educated geographical guess.
She certainly may.
I suppose non-educated is the correct term.
A random guess, perhaps?
Hey, tired.
Mhm.
What's your check?
Let's can I give myself +2 narrative points here?
Yeah, no. First,
so
yeah.
the check you're gonna have to get is you can't rely on academic information. You're gonna have to do a gut instinct. So you're gonna have to do poise academics.
Poise academics.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can I?
Is there a map in this dude's? Is there a map in this dude's room, like somewhere
No.
hanged on the wall?
No, there is not.
There should be. Any proper
Dear.
man of the revolution should have a map of the nation.
Wicked,
on
all
the
right.
like a history teacher, there has to be a map in the room.
A
That's
globe,
the rules.
mayhaps.
I'm working on it. Okay.
No, sorry, I didn't mean that as a...
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Does this seem? Is this just him innocently asking, or does this feel like he's like fishing for information out of it?
He's absolutely just guessing. Nope, he's just trying to make conversation.
Okay.
Gosh. Poison academics.
So we don't need to tell him.
Do you not have your poise?
I do not have my
Oh,
poise.
you do not have your poise. Well, it's just as good that you had 4 successes then, because your poise is 4. Perhaps the name of let's see, Chavois comes to mind.
It was somewhere just near Chavois.
Near Chavois. He shrugs and then says, "So you had been at sea for 3 days. Mokum is only 2 from here, 2 by sea, longer by foot. And yes,
You know how the sea is. She is a mysterious mistress.
Yes, and especially in the month of Rhenus, it's very unpredictable. I don't know why they tried to sail you through in this weather. This conclusion was inevitable. But anyways, you are due to arrive in Mokum in 2 days. I have sent a message, of course, informing the representative on missions of Mokum that you will be absent some days. It's no issue. But I'm certain you are aware of the urgency of your task and the import of your ultimate mission in Tyskland.
Of course. However, I do say after the incident, one of our friends has come into a unfortunate case of late amnesia. It would be good if we could have a briefing, mayhaps.
Amnesia? Which one?
I raise my hand.
All right.
He kind of furrows his brow at you because you had been sort of sometimes have been saying, indicating that you know more than you are letting on. Yes, briefing. Amelia von Braun. She's, as I'm certain you are aware from her name, accent and mother tongue is Tuskish. The nation at which the Republic is now at war. She is endowed with unique talents, as I am also certain you are aware. And so these talents is she will be under the guise she will be in Mokum under the cover of a religious refugee fleeing the front. Mokum is a very logical place for a refugee to be. It is the largest city in Batavia. And then from there, she will be negotiated to transfer under a special license accompanied by Guy de Montblanc here to return to Tyskland, where she will attend the Turkish court. She will become member of the cartel staff going between the Republic and Tyskland, carrying informal dispatches, all the while reforming the intelligence services of the Republic. Anything that would be pertinent to the revolution. Madame von Braun's loyalty to the revolution is beyond reproach, obviously, and all her ability to gain these talents on her own, largely on her own in rural Tuscany, develop them to such the state that they are now. I'm certain she is reading my words before I even say them.
I am here for the revolution and the liberation of my own people, of course.
Yes, the Turkish campaign, unless the Maccabee can get some sort of miracle victory, it will be many, many years in the mountains.
I just kind of like glance to the side as I think to myself, like, what the
No
fuck
thoughts.
No, I'm looking to the side. I'm thinking to myself, the fuck is a brigadier general doing guarding a secret agent? Oh, well, actually, no, excuse me. The fuck is a brigadier doing guarding an agent of a secret agent on a spying mission? What? That's what's going on through Guy's mind right now.
Amalia's mind is just blank, and then like a large, like in the background, just a constant scream, and that's been what's going on through her mind this entire conversation.
Yeah. What's Fane and Arnaldo thinking?
Yeah, well, Arnaldo, how do you take this information?
I'm trying to desperately piece together how this involves us, but he already kind of admitted that he doesn't know how we're involved.
That is correct. He actually just said it. Yep, he does not know who you are or why you were there.
And we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
My thoughts are very simple. I'm learning so many new things today.
I know this must be very confusing, and you are not Rodinese or outlandish or Batafs, so good Sven, I appreciate your patience. This must be very confusing overall.
It's an ordeal of a day, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but your knowledge of the Batavsa languages, I'm certain of partially why you're there. I shall not speculate, it is not my place. But in the meanwhile, with the Hôtel de Ville, what do they call it here? No, a state house. The local lord's old manor is, of course, you may stay there. It's sort of where we put everything that cannot fit in the cathedral. And, of course, you can be on your way immediately. Is there anything more I can do for you before you move on?
I look around.
Oh, it appears that we have two pilots without constructs. I was curious on how they can do their proper job.
Well, I'm not going to pretend that I know how constructs work. But unless I am mistaken, Arnaldo Sven, you are naturalist constructs, not mechanical construct pilots, correct?
I look
Aldo,
at
save
them.
us.
Yeah, I look
I
at
was gonna
them.
say, does any of that ring a bell?
Yeah, it should. Could you, Arnaldo, could you roll just like a keen and academics, please?
Okay. Oh, that was. What's our plot points at the moment?
We have three.
You do. This is you roll. You have a bonus of 2 to this. This is like asking a fighter pilot what model of what plane he flies. This is not a complicated question.
Okay.
I feel like there would be a +3.
In that mode, then I would like to spend 1 to pass because I rolled very badly there.
All right, so
I rolled a 10. And I've got.
Oh yeah, so you meet it if you spend a narrative point to get 1.
Yeah, I will spend to meet.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know it.
Yes, it is true.
True narrative.
It's keen in academics. All right, so both of you pilot nature constructs and not mechanical constructs.
Do we know what those are?
So like a mechanical construct is one that like the fundamental material and the core of it are taken from like something that is built, right? And it has to be and a little bit of insight Arnaldo gets here is that it has to be an object of value, right? Like you can't turn any old building into a construct, right? So like a cathedral, right? It's an important building, so it becomes a very powerful construct, right? Nature constructs operate on a like similar premise, right? It has to be there has to be some unique quality, some unique power to it that has to, or something going on at the time that harmonizes with the pilot's construct ability. You can't just do it with any old patch of dirt. Just like a mechanical construct pilot can't do it with just like any old house. He could do it with his own house, but not just any old building.
I see.
Great.
So he looks at you and says, "For whatever purpose you are here, I'm certain it is very valuable to your effort as an Outlander." And he looks at Svein and tries to pick his words. He tries to pick a tactful word, fails, and says, "Mercenary." Yes.
And he says that I said this is Vive Revolution.
He just.
I'm going to look at Svein with the face of like, oh my god.
And he says, "Is there anything I can do for any of you before I leave you for the night? It's going to be a horrible storm again tonight. The lees of the typhoon that blew you ashore."
Perhaps in the morning, you could help us be better equipped for the journey on the road.
He kind of scratches his beard a little bit and is like, "I will do what I can. Perhaps I shall. I'll probably have to consult with the local guard, the National Guard captain. He can probably has something to spare. That's not exactly my department, but I can talk to people."
Thank you, Representative. Your efforts to help us are greatly appreciated for both the revolution and our mission.
I'm a representative of the nations united. My role only is to advance the revolution.
Good man. I say as I nod, not in a like a good man, as in a like this is a I am a hardcore revolutionary, but as a nice good man in general to help us. As I say, what? Come on, you three. Let us settle down for tonight. We have a long journey soon ahead of us. And I am going to usher my gaggle of amnesiacs out of the door.
Amelia, as they leave, kind of whispers to Guy, "Between you and me, I much preferred being a nun."
Guy shrugs and I'm like, so did I. I did not expect I was guarding a secret agent.
Arnold, Spain, you exchange any words while these two talk?
Mercenaries, eh? I wonder who pays us.
Can you see that again? I didn't quite catch that.
Just like they have this thing on for being secret agent. I was just leaning over to say, it's like mercenaries, eh? I wonder who pays us. I've immediately gone on to what I need to be concerned about.
The blue-coated soldier takes you over to the former lord's house, which looks like this, and then guides you in. It's seen better days. Looks like it used to be ornately decorated. Those decorations are long gone, but it's not.
Yes, for the revolution.
It's not a ruin, though. This is still a very well-tended building. It's just no longer a very well-decorated one. There are fires crackling in the hearths. You can smell that the kitchens have been working. And there's a hustle and bustle of just sort of administration and life. Like the representative said, the odds and ends of the city kind of all end up here every now and again. It's a warm and cheerful place.
I am going to be like, alright, well, first off, we grab food, hot food, as per the barber's orders, as I look to Spain, and I point to Spain and I say, hopefully you can share some of that medicine with us, for the rest of us, considering we all have a similar affliction. After that, we eat, as per orders, and rest.
I'd look at Guy and I say, "How much exactly are you paying me again?"
Maybe if I had my memory. Yeah, no, Guy is like, maybe if I had my memories, I could answer that with like a shrug and like this fucking shit-eating grin.
All right, you
Slightly leaning in towards Vane.
you all go to the kitchens, and as per the barber's orders, you ask for the wettest, spiciest food that you can have. This in this region of the world, there isn't really spicy food, but they can do wet. As you all sit down to have your rye bread and fish stew.
Yum.
Finally, just
Appetizing.
finally feeling, not exactly oriented, but let's just say less disoriented. You have a way forward now, if not necessarily a way out. You hear a pistol shot out in the distance, and someone screaming. And this has been Stormborn, an Operation V story.